Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming to the Friday Fitlife Academy call. I'm Coach Paula, and I have Coach Penny with me today. And our subject today is frequently asked questions about juicing. So one of the questions we get a lot is how to make juicing part of your daily life. And that's pretty broad, but I think it's also pretty simple. And all you have to do is start with just one juice. And you can place that anywhere that you can make fit so that the easier it is for you to fit it into your daily routine, the more successful you're going to be. So there is no wrong answer to that. You just have to simply get started. Another question we have is juicing supposed to replace meals? And it can, if that's what you want to do. We, in our coaching program and our detox programs, we do both. We have, generally, we like to recommend that you're eating or juicing every 2 to 3 hours. So we generally teach 3 meals and 2 snacks. So you can place your juices anywhere in there. You can have it in as a snack, or you can do meal replacement. If you're going to do meal replacement, you want to make sure that you're eating all of your other meals in that day. So if you get up and you have breakfast and you want to do it as a snack, you can do it there. Or say you have breakfast and a snack and you want to replace lunch with it. That's perfectly fine, but know that in the afternoon you're going to have another snack and then you're going to eat your dinner at your dinner time. As for juicing and fitness, you want to make sure that your fitness is sandwiched in between a snack and a meal and not a juice and then say work out and then have a meal, because you want to make sure you have the right proper amount of nutrition before and after your workout. So that would be the only thing I would watch for if you're placing your juice as a meal replacement or a snack, that it's not right up next to when you're going to do your fitness. What is the difference between juicing and smoothies? So the difference between juicing and smoothies is when you actually juice, you're removing the insoluble fiber from the juice or the smoothie. So when you do a smoothie, you're putting whole food in there, blending it up, and that's your smoothie. So say you put spinach in your smoothie, that's great. When you put it in the juicer, it squeezes, it juices the juice out of the spinach, and then the stuff that doesn't digest gets left in the pulp that goes into the wastebasket part of the juicer. When you juice, the idea is that you're taking in all those nutrients very, very quickly, and your stomach doesn't have to, or your system doesn't have to work to break down that insoluble fiber and pull out the nutrients, because they're just automatically in the juice. And when you drink something, it's 10 to 15 minutes max, and your body has absorbed all of those nutrients out of the juice. So, and it's also giving your digestive system a break from working so hard to do all of that just to get the nutrients out of it. So that's the differences. They're both good for you, and with Fitlife and in our programs, we do both. There's a place for both juicing and having smoothies. How to eat while you juice is another common question, and I kind of went over that. You just eat. We eat whole, clean nutrition, whole, clean foods. So we try to stick with everything in we talk a lot about perimeter shopping. So we shop around the outside of the store. We hit up, your clean proteins, your fruits, your vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables, organic, and if you can get it. And if you can, it's perfectly fine. You can always wash your fruit and vegetables before you consume them. And then like I mentioned earlier, we place the juice wherever it fits into your daily routine, and depending on the results that you're looking for. If you're looking just for the nutrition part of it, you want to maybe just do it as your snack or as a supplement throughout your day. If you're looking for weight loss or fat loss, you might want to use it as a meal replacement. So generally, we just kind of eat like you would normally eat. We just try to keep it on the healthy side. What times of days do you juice? And we talked about that. Any time that works for you. I generally do most of my juicing, I would have to say, is probably in the morning right now. I tend to do my fitness in the afternoon. So I'm usually start my day with a smoothie. And then my snack is usually a juice. Now, sometimes it's a fresh juice and sometimes it's Organifi. And then I usually have lunch, a snack, my fitness, and then my dinner. So that's kind of how I place my juices in my day. But I have had them at all different times. It just depends on whether I'm following Drew's juice cycling program, or, I really try to look at the beginning of the week, generally on Sunday, at my schedule for the week and where I'm going to be doing my fitness. Am I going to be out and about, and where does it fit in into my day? Penny's chiming in. She says, oops, I lost it, Penny. Here, let me get it. If you drink all your juice and you're still hungry, drink more juice. Just be sure you are not sipping juice all day long. Correct. So when you do juice, you want to keep it at a particular time. If you're going to have it as your snack, then you have it as your snack. If you're going to have it as your lunch, you would sit down and eat your lunch. You would sit down and drink your juice. Don't say, oh, I'm juicing, and then take 3 hours to drink your juice. You want to do it all at one time, as if it were your meal or your snack. Right? Is that what okay. Penny is having a voice problem, so she's just typing to me.
I have no voice too. It's completely gone.
Oh my gosh. I feel horrible. Let's see. Again, how many times should you juice each day? And again, that depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to lose weight or body fat, you might want to juice a little bit more. If you're looking to build muscle and say you've already reached your weight loss goal, then you would juice less. And like I said before, maybe just take it as a supplement. Maybe you would have a glass of water. Instead of a glass of water, you can have a glass of juice. What time of day should I juice? That's another question we got from our members. And again, it just depends on what you're doing. Where it fits in best is the best time to juice.
You can add protein powder.
Yep. So what we do when we juice, the more we juice, we like to supplement in a day. We like to supplement with protein powder and healthy fat, say coconut oil or MCT oil, so that we stay satiated throughout the day and you don't get that foggy brain and you don't feel like you want to sleep all day. So those are two things that you can do if you're juicing, say having a couple of juices a day, you can supplement in there protein powder and healthy fat to make it easier for you and to help you feel just a little bit fuller as you go through your juice fast. How do you track nutrients while juicing? That's a good question. I use a tracker. I use MyFitnessPal. And actually, if you type in there, search in fresh squeezed or fresh juiced juice, there are a lot of things that come up. And generally, from what I see, it's about 100 to 150 calories, depending on what you're juicing. But that being said, it is not necessary to track calories when you're juicing. In our program, we don't count calories. It's actually an awesome way to free yourself from that, counting points, counting calories, counting macros, counting. As long as you're taking in whole food nutrition, you should be fine in reaching all of your nutrients for the day. There are certain things that we recommend. Penny Penny, do you think you could chime in just for a minute? Thank you.
Yes, there's a question here. I've lost Paula's train of thought. There's a question here that deals with, let me find it. On juicing, will a blender work just as good as a juicer? A blender is not a juicer. A blender will work for making smoothies, which is great. There's smoothies and there's juicing. It's two different things. When we're talking about juice fast, we mean strictly juice, no smoothies. So the reason for that is when you're juicing, you're giving your digestive system a rest. When you're blending, you get the fiber, and your system has to process that. Paula, can you take it from there?
Yes, I can.
So they were asking about on juicing, will a blender work just as good as a juicer?
Okay.
That's the question.
Okay. So, like Penny was saying, when you juice fast, you want to, the whole idea is to give your body a break. And with that, when you blend, you don't have that that opportunity. So because your body is working on breaking down, so it's not getting the rest that it needs during a juice fast. Do you have another question there? You're muted. Don't waste your voice.
Hold on, I couldn't find the window. How can I overcome appetite control issues? Which I think is more of a mindset. And adding protein powders, adding healthy fat for me helped with appetite control. Adding BCAAs helped me with sugar, when I got rid of sugar, and with appetite control. But I think for me, mostly was a mindset, because this is a lifestyle change, and it's a new way of life. It's a new way of thinking, that you're fueling your body with whole nutritious food, not junk food, not processed food. And I think that's what makes the difference. You really eat more on this than you do normally. You eat a lot. I eat a lot more vegetables on this. It's the meals are bigger, and it's like I said, getting my head wrapped around it was something else.
I think that I agree with you that it's a mindset thing, and you'd be surprised when you're feeding your body the proper foods, how much fuller you feel. And by eating more frequently, and it doesn't take much on those snacks. Sometimes it's, a half avocado with some celery or jicama chips or something like that, or zucchini, something very small and simple, just enough to get you through, and how much better you feel when you're eating that nutrition. I can remember when I started, and Coach May had said in one of her calls, we were juice fasting or whatever, and she's like, there's something that happens when you juice fast. And everybody was sitting there like, what happens? What's she going to tell us a secret? And she said, and her words were, you're going to be able to eat again. It's not the end of the world. So, and it's true. No one's telling you you're never going to eat again, and you're going to go back to eating some really great food. So and that's what I used to get myself through, was it's only temporary. It's only for a short period of time. And the more you do it, and then when you're successful, the easier it is the next time you do some sort of juice fast. Now with Fitlife, we never juice fast more than really no more than 3 days consecutively, because you don't want to harm your metabolism. And what the problem we have had, or not problem, but situations we've run into, is people realize once you get used to juicing how easy it is. And sometimes you're like, oh, I'll just have a juice. Who feels like cooking? But you can't do that all the time. It is important to eat and feed yourself food, because we're made to eat. We're not made just to
Exactly.
juice and juice and juice. So
Exactly.
although you may see results in the beginning of juice fasting, and you want to, and I guess it's maybe human nature that you want to keep doing the same thing, but eventually it's going to stall and possibly go backwards. And the longer you juice fast, the more apt you are not to feel well. You're going to reach that point. So 3 days maximum consecutively, and then, have a partial juice food day or a whole food day, for 2, 3, 4 days, and then you can try juice fasting again.
I have one more question here.
Sure.
Can the probiotic be taken more than once a day? It can. I take one in the morning, one in the evening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the maximum.
That's our probiotic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I sometimes, if I'm out of it, or just to mix it up, I'll have kombucha or sauerkraut. I love the natural probiotics, kimchi, because I enjoy those.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the bottle it does say twice a day.
Yeah, twice a day. And no matter what product you're taking, whether it's our products or something that you got at a health food store or a drugstore, you always want to do what's recommended on the bottle, or consult a physician or someone that you trust in the nutrition field to change those instructions.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Let me see if there's anything else. Hold on. I'm 54 and 50 pounds overweight, confused about knowing where and how to start my transformation. Well, I think this is the right place to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that this is where I started. I was a lot more than 50 pounds overweight. I'm still on my journey. I've lost about 65 plus pounds. I know Paula's lost a lot of weight. Jill's lost over 100 pounds. It's definitely a lifestyle change. I know I've tried every diet out there. Nothing worked. And I can honestly say I've been on this for 2 years and love it. There's no weight gain back. It's not hard. But I had to accept this is how it's going to be. I was ready for that change.
Mm-hmm. And I would say, and I agree with Penny, I've lost over 50 pounds, and I'm with Fitlife for 3 years, and I've cleaned up my health a lot. I didn't start to lose weight, although, as you can tell, 50 pounds, I had weight to lose. But I started more I had liver issues, and I was trying to get those straightened out, and everything's works better, and then some. I am very pleased with my results. And I had tried, Fitlife was the last thing I tried. I tried everything to try to switch those test results of my liver around, and I was not being successful. And this was, although I didn't know anything about it. I had never done anything like this before. It was all brand new to me. What I did first, though, before I started the small group coaching, is I took a look at everything I ate. I had started, like I had mentioned earlier, I'd started with MyFitnessPal, and I just started putting everything in there. It didn't matter. I didn't lie. Nobody else was going to look at it anyways. I just wanted to see where I was calorie-wise, fat-wise, sugar-wise. And it was an eye-opener. So that was my first step. And so once I did that for about a week or so, I had decided that I would try to cut back on my sugar. And not cut it out completely, but just try to make better choices. So I started looking at my ingredients. And I remember on one of my, I want to say it was spaghetti sauce or tomatoes, jarred tomatoes, something. And when I looked at the label and saw the amount of sugar per serving, I couldn't believe it. So the next thing I did was just starting to make better choices that way, to find products that had low to no sugar. And if I wanted the sugar in it, I put it in myself. And that's how I controlled my sugar intake. And it wasn't until I started, I ran into Drew. I had found a book called The Sugar Smart Diet that was written by a woman who's involved with prevention. And that's what started my interest in watching sugar and all the different names that there are out there for sugar, that if you read the ingredient list, you would have no idea if you weren't educated on it.
It's shocking. It's really shocking.
Over 45 names. And by now, 3 years later, who knows how many different names there are for sugar. And simply, I used to go get smoothies thinking I'm doing something healthy for myself. And they put this stuff in there called turbinado. I didn't know that was sugar, because I never thought that if you went to a smoothie place, it wouldn't be healthy, because what do you think about smoothies? I'm not getting a shake, I'm getting a smoothie. You would think it would be healthy. Wrong. It was like massive amount of sugar in these smoothies.
And if they put fruit in it, it's even more sugar.
Right, on top of whatever. Right, exactly. So my recommendation is that, you can look into our programs. We'd love to have you. Obviously, we've seen lots and lots of success, and we've experienced it, and we know that it works. But if you're just looking like, what can I do today? That would be my recommendation. Track what you're eating and track your sugar, because everybody thinks it's fat, and yeah, it has something to do with it, but sugar is huge.
We have these new custom detox programs. Do you want to talk about that? I put the offers up in the chat.
The offer's up in the chat, so you can click on that so that you can learn about our custom detox plans. And you can always email us. All of our emails start with our first name. You could do Jill, who's not here today. She had to be away, but Jill@fitlife.tv, Penny@fitlife.tv, or Paula@fitlife.tv. And we'd be glad to answer any questions that you have on anything that we talked about, or maybe something that we didn't even touch on, but we're there to answer your questions. So shoot us an email and let us know. And with that, I think we're done. Questions, right? So we're going to wrap up for today. Thank you, Penny, for your help there on the technical end of it. And I'd like to wish everybody a happy weekend and a happy week, and we'll see you next Friday.
See you next week. Bye.
All right.